Big Block Bob is now in the business of doing fuel filters on his tow rig, which is a Cummins 6.7 turbo diesel and a 2015 Ram 2500. And what's supposed to be 30 Newton meters of torque on this front fuel filter proved to be a challenge if I just followed the YouTube video where the guy has a socket, which is 1 1/8 in size, on a ratchet, and you stick your hand way down in here, and somehow you're going to get the kind of leverage you need for some jiggies, or just maybe it was time, but this son of a bitch was tight. So I've got my big fat half. I went to an adapter to a 3/8 because that's the only swivel I had handy where I'm doing this work. Ran a 3/8 extension up behind this little box. There's just enough room, and boom, got my big fatty long 1/2-inch Matco ratchet, and I was able to finally bust it loose with that guy. But man, she was tight, and she's still crying. Yeah, look at that. I mean, good heavens. I've already gone at least a quarter of a turn, and it's still acting stupid. So, in my opinion, this is the best way to do it. You gotta get a long extension and route up behind that little box and really get some torque on it, because if it's like my truck, I mean, I've had this thing for 10,000 miles or so now. This is the first time I've had to do it. Thank goodness they last a while, because what a pain in the butt it's been so far. I've got another quick little hit that I'll give you for the water separator one, and I'll show you what kind of fun I had with that. So, more to come. Okay, I promised to show you the fuel water separator. So this is threaded here at the top. There's a fitting that goes on the bottom that has a sensor on it, and that unscrews. But to get it off the actual truck, these threads up here are what hold it in place. And for me, underneath the truck, I didn't raise the truck, so on my back, you know, I can get two hands on it pretty well, but I just couldn't get this sucker to break free. So knowing that there was something in the bottom, I tried to come up here as high as I could with a screwdriver and a hammer, and I just drove that flathead in there as deep as I could, and then I was able to get it to break free. Ideally, I'd have a strap wrench or a big, maybe oil filter wrench could probably handle it, but with my bare hands, this son of a gun just a little too much for me, so we had to abuse it to get it off of here. But everything is back in the truck. The truck is running. One of the other YouTube videos I watched on this said if you cycle the key 3 times, you should have enough fuel. I would argue that that's not enough, especially because it didn't seem like I had drained it enough using the little yellow knob you saw in the other video. That's actually where it drains from. So you just turn it like a quarter turn and it comes out. But until I broke the seal from the top, which was way more than 30 Newton meters in my opinion, it seemed like it held on to a lot more fuel. So as soon as I broke it free, I could hear gas dumping out of the bottom. I did use the trick from the other video where you stick another piece of hose on to the end of the factory hose. So I used this one here, a 5/8 inch hose. I don't know if we can get that in there or not. But a 5/8 inch hose was perfect for sliding on the factory tube that they give you. However, because I thought I'd already drained the front, I had the valve open when I cracked the top free. I guess the pressure held it, I don't know, whatever. It was not mentioned to crack it open while that other valve was open and continue to drain fuel out. So a lot more fuel came out of here than I was anticipating. A little bit of a mess that I plan on cleaning up here in a minute. As far as the key cycling goes, once that extra fuel was out of there, I don't know that turning the key 20 times would be enough. So the thing cranked and cranked and cranked. It sounded like gloom and doom for the injectors if there's not fuel in them. I bet you I cycled the key 6 or 8 times before I first let the ignition turn the starter. So I just turned it to the run position, and try to get it to fill them up. But those are some pretty big reservoirs, if you will, that hold those filters. So I don't know how long it takes. I mean, I'm not a Dodge certified mechanic, so maybe I can find another video that suggests that more than 3 to 5 cycles are the key to run, or maybe there's some other secret that I'm not aware of. But it did start, and hopefully there's nothing, no big deal with that the injectors may not have had fuel initially, because it should have fired right up pretty quickly. So now all I got to do is reset the fuel filter message on the dash, which is easy. I've seen that a number of times. It's pretty easy on these. They're pretty user-friendly on the dashboards, like resetting your mileage to see what kind of gas mileage you get and crap like that. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. Yeah, feel free to comment below if you have any thoughts on your experience. I would just say crack it open while there's a tube on the tube into your drain pan. Crack that top front fuel filter open, make sure you get it all out of there, or close it back up. I mean, once the pressure is released, I suppose it wouldn't be a big deal if you left fuel in that container and turned that yellow valve closed. But I had mine open still until the moment I had closed this top up. I closed that second, and maybe there's something to that sequence. So good luck to any of you out there that are doing these Ram trucks. It's certainly a savings. If they charge you an hour of labor at $100+ an hour, you know, you're saving quite a bit of money. I think to watch them drain was probably the longest thing. In the back, once I poked the hole in it, it was kind of the same scenario. I think there's some vacuum in there that's holding that fuel in. So even though there's an easy petcock to open, it seemed like the fuel wasn't really coming out. But once I hit it with that screwdriver, that changed everything. So there might be something to both of these needing to be cracked while the valves are open, so you can drain it with a hose and not just splatter everywhere. So that would be my 2 cents. Try to get both of them opened up while there's still a hose to drain it. I drain one and then the other using the hose. I mean, they're different size hoses, so really you don't need to wait for one or the other, but do one, then start on the other. I think maybe the drain process would be the longest part of your labor rate, which is the easy part. And then this top front piece, like I said, that extension, getting it in behind this cowl here, kind of get in behind that thing, and it was almost straight up and down. Almost didn't need the universal joint, but I'm thankful I did go that route, because there's no way with my hand way in that hole that I was ever going to get the torque to break that thing free. And since it's plastic, you know, your butt puckers up a little bit. At least mine did, because these things are expensive, and it's kind of late, and I don't think I could get what I need to fix it if something happened that went wrong. Thanks for watching.